So now we're ready to take a look at that argument, assess it, see whether it's a persuasive one. And that's, of course, going to be the question whether the argument's sound, which itself includes the question whether the premises are all true and whether the argument is also valid. Well, our first question, which you should know to ask based on what we talked about in the context of the cosmological argument, our first question is, even if Aquinas can prove there must be a first mover, must that first mover be a greatest conceivable being? Maybe that first mover is not particularly nice or smart. So that's one question we want to have on the table. Another question is it really true that there cannot be an infinite series of causes? After all, we know what it is for there to be an infinite series of numbers. The integers, for example, is a set of numbers such that for every number n, there's one you get by adding the number 1 to it, n plus 1, and you can go on like that forever. So it seems to me that the idea of an infinite series of numbers is a coherent one, no contradiction. Why, therefore, can't there be an infinite series of events, which you might call an infinite causal regression? An infinite series in which each event has a cause, which itself has a cause, which itself has a cause, which itself has a cause, and so on infinitely. Where's the contradiction in that idea? Where's the incoherence in the idea of an infinite series of causes? Aquinas does not give us an answer to that question so far as I know. Because we have the idea of an infinite series, why can't we also form the idea of an infinite series of causes? So let's go back to Aquinas' argument. The first premise was everything has a cause. Let's give him that for now. We'll come back later in this course to consider whether it's really true that everything has a cause. Let's just assume that for now. Premise 2, a chain of causes cannot stretch back infinitely, for otherwise there could be no way in which any of the causes could come into being. That's one that we might want to try to challenge. We're not sure at this point whether it's true that a chain of causes cannot stretch back infinitely. Maybe you could have an infinite causal regression. If there is an incoherence in that idea, if there's some kind of hidden contradiction in the idea, I want to know about it. I haven't come across one yet. Perhaps you'll let me know. And then the conclusion, there must be a first mover, but that conclusion is only going to be proved if, in fact, we've got a sound argument. The soundness of the argument requires that both of the premises be true, and what we're doing now is saying we're not so sure that premise number 2 is, in fact, true.